Compare the delay in sending X bits message over a k-hop path in a circuit network and in a lightly loaded packet switch network. The circuit setup takes S seconds, the propagation delay is D seconds, and the packet size is P bits, and the data rate is G bits per second. Under what condition does the packet switch network have a lower delay? So, here we can see that the total time to send the message in circuit switching is given as circuit setup time, time to send the entire message, like put it on the wire, and time for the last bit to travel to destination. This time is measured starting from the instant the last bit is set. This occurs at the end of sending the entire message. So, circuit setup time is given by S. Now, putting the entire message takes X by G seconds, where X is the length of the message and G is the data rate, and time for the last bit to travel is K into D seconds. So, the total time for circuit switching is the sum of all these three. Now, moving on to packet switching. Here, the total time taken to send message is the time to send the entire message, that is the transmission delay. It is same as in circuit switching, and then we add time taken for the last packet to reach destination. This also includes the propagation delay on each of the k-hop paths. So, the time for last packet to reach destination is kd plus propagation delay on each k hops. So, we go through k minus 1 hops. We take k minus 1 hops. So, it is given by k minus 1 into p, that is the size of the packet, divided by g, that is the data rate. This happens for each packet in case of packet switching. Then we compare circuit switching is faster when this time is less than the time taken for packet switching. So we compare these two, and this time this packet for circuit switching should be less than, that is, it is for packet switching. So we get this relation, and if this relation holds true, then we can say that the circuit network is faster than the lightly loaded packet switch network. Now, moving on to the second question. In packet switching network, packets are routed from source to destination along a single path having two intermediate nodes. If the message size is 24 bytes and each packet contains a header of 3 bytes, then the optimum packet size is. This is an MCQ question and the options are 4, 6, 7 and 9. So, let's assume that the transmission time taken for 1 byte is t for all nodes. This will simplify our calculations. So, the total transmission time is time taken by the first packet plus the time taken by the remaining packets, which will be sent in a parallel manner in case of packet switching here. So, the time taken for first packet is packet size into 3 into t, as 3 lengths are to be travelled. And then for the remaining packets, it becomes packet size into t into the number of remaining packets, as we don't need it 3 times, we don't have to add it 3 times, as when a packet is going from here to here, another is going from here to here, and the third one is going from here to here parallelly. So now we calculate transmission time for each of the packet size given in the multiple choice. So for 4 byte, number of packet turns out to be 24 divided by 4 minus 3. This is the total size of the message. And 3 is the header. So we have to always subtract the header from the size of the packet. So we get total number of packets as 24, and we calculated transmission time using the above formula, and it turns out to be 104T. Similarly, we do this for 6 bytes, 7 bytes and 9 bytes. Always remember to subtract the header from the size of the packet, and we calculate the transmission time for all of these, and we get the least amount of time in 9 bytes. So 9 bytes is the answer. Now moving on to question 3. The question is a lot more specific, like calculate the optimum size of the data packet in the packet switch network over 2 hop path. The size of the message is 10,000 bits and the packet header size is 40 bits. But we will be deriving it for common for variables, and then we will substitute the values. This will help you derive the formula as to from where we get the optimum size of the data packet. So the question now becomes that Z bits of data are to be transmitted over a k hop path in a packet switch network as a series of packets, each containing p data bits and h header bits. We assume that Z is greater than p plus h. The line is b bits per second, the line speed, and the propagation delay is negligible. What value of p minimizes the total transmission time for the data? That is the optimum p value. That is the optimum packet size. So the total number of packets needed is given by Z by P, as Z is the total number of bits of data that needed to be sent and P is the packet size. So the total number of bits that are needed to be sent, we have to include header for each packet, so it becomes P plus H into Z by P bits. Z by P is here the number of packets and P plus H is the bit size of each packet. Now moving on, time taken by the source to transmit is given by the number of bits divided by the line speed, that is b bits per second. So time taken for forwarding the last packet takes in a k hop path is k minus 1 into p by h, that is the size of the packet, divided by b. We have also used this formula in the previous question. So the total time is given by this plus this. That is the total time to transmit from the source and time taken by the last packet to reach the destination. Now for optimum time, we differentiate with respect to p for the optimum value and set the total time to 0. So I have opened these brackets to make it more clear for differentiating. Now in this step we differentiate with respect to p here. I hope you all know how to differentiate. So moving on, we solve this and we get the value of p. So for solving the question which I mentioned before, you can put the values of Z as 10,000 bits, H as 40 bits and K as 2 hop paths. The size of the packet does not depend on B. that is the line speed. So the three values given were enough to calculate the optimum size of P. So now moving on to question 4, we are given a 64 kilobyte message is to be transmitted over a 2-hop path in a network. The network limits packet to a maximum size of 2 kilobytes. Header size is negligible. The transmission line in the network is error free and has a speed of 50 Mbps. Each hop path is 1000 kilometers long. How long does it take to get a message from source to destination using slightly loaded packet switch network? I have taken the header size to be 32 bits, which is negligible, but however I have used it for calculation to tell you how to solve this question if the header size is given. So we calculate the number of packets, and as always we subtract the header size, and we get an approximate of 33 packets. We always take the ceiling, like the bigger number. Like taking 32 is wrong. We should always take 33, and we assume that the signal travels at the speed of light. So the propagation time is given by the distance, the total distance, divided by the speed of the signal, that here is the speed of light. So we get the propagation delay as 1/3 milliseconds. Now moving on to transmission time. Transmission time is given by the size of the packet divided by the channel capacity, which turns out to be 40 microseconds. Please make sure that this is milliseconds and this is microseconds. So don't just add it to give 43 and 1/3. This is microseconds. So moving on, this is the source, the switch and the destination, and we can see how packet 1, 2, 3 like are transmitted from the source to the destination, and the propagation delay is can be seen here and here, between when the packet is sent from the source and it is received to the switch, and and when the packet is sent from the switch and it is received at the destination. This time the time taken for a packet to reach is given as the transmission time. So we assume that queuing and processing delays at the intermediate switch are negligible, so we are not counting that. So the total delay comes out to be 2 into propagation delay. 2 into propagation delay plus t into number of packets plus 1. As from here onwards, for every packet, this and for nth packet, there is always a transmission time plus 1 extra transmission time in this case. So we add the 2 times the propagation delay plus transmission time into number of packets plus 1 to get the total delay. This is microseconds, and you can convert it into 40 into 10 to the power minus. milliseconds, and solve this question to get 8.03 milliseconds as the answer. Now moving on to question 5. This is somewhat similar to the previous question, but uh, we have added two routers instead of the one switch in the previous question. So consider a computer S transmitting a file of 10 to the power 6 bits to a destination computer D over a network of two routers R1 and R2 and three links L1, L2 and L3. Let each link is 100 kilometers. This makes our job easier, and assume that signal travels over the links at the speed of 10 to the power 8 meter per second, and the link bandwidth is 1 Mbps. Let file be broken down into 1000 packets and each of the size 1000 bits. So we have to find the total sum of transmission and propagation delay in transmitting a file from S to D. So the propagation delay from S to R1 is distance divided by link speed, which we have been using for every question now. So that is 10 to the power 5 divided by 10 to the power 8. This is 100 kilometers converted into meters, and so we get 1 millisecond. So the total propagation delay from S to D, as we move from S to R1 and then from R1 to R2 and then from R2 to D, this becomes 3 into the propagation delay for 1, like S to R1, so we get 3 milliseconds. Now total transmission delay for one packet is equal to 3 into number of bits divided by bandwidth. This formula we have also used this formula in the previous question. So this turns out to be 3 milliseconds. Number of bits is 1000. We have been given that, and 10 to the power 6 is the bandwidth, that is 1 Mbps, also given in the question. As rest packets will process in parallel, so the total transmission time becomes 1 millisecond into number of packets left, that is number of packets minus 1. So we have been given that the total number of packets is 1000, so this turns out to be 999 milliseconds. So the total time is transmission plus propagation, that is transmission is 999 plus this 3, and the propagation is this 3. So we get 999 plus 6, that is 1005 milliseconds as the answer for this question. Now let's do a few multiple choice questions before we move on to a bigger question. So which of the following is not true in respect to a transparent bridge and router? Both bridge and routers selectively forward data packets. A bridge uses IP address while routers uses MAC address. A bridge builds up its routing tables by inspecting incoming packets. A router can connect between a LAN and a WAN. So bridges are used to connect two or more networks and create a bigger network. A bridge works up to the second layer only, that is, it only implements the physical and data link layers. Therefore, it does not use an IP address for its routing. Therefore, option B is the correct answer. Now moving on to question 7. In a network of LANs connected by bridges, packets are sent from one LAN to another through intermediate bridges. Since more than one path may exist between two LANs, packets may have to be routed through multiple bridges. Why is spanning tree algorithm used for bridge routing? for shortest path routing between LANs, for avoiding loop in routing paths, for fault tolerance, and for minimizing collision. The correct answer is B, for avoiding loops in the routing path. If there is to be a loop created, the packet will go on infinitely, stuck in the loop forever, and it won't reach anywhere, and this can cause a big problem. So we use spanning tree algorithm to solve this problem. Now moving on to question 8. Which of the following is not an inter-networking device? Bridge, gateway, modem or router? The correct answer is modem. Modem is not an inter-networking device. Bridge, gateway and router are all inter-networking devices. And now moving on to connected question. The statements. This is the diagram, and the question is: consider the diagram shown below, where a number of LANs are connected by transparent bridges. In order to avoid packets looping through the circuits in the graph, the bridges organize themselves in a spanning tree. First, the root bridge is identified as the bridge with the least serial number. Next, the root sends out one or more data units to enable the setting up of the spanning tree of the shortest paths from the root bridge to each bridge. Each bridge identifies a port, the root port, through which it will forward frames to the root bridge. Port conflicts are always resolved in favor of the port with the lower index value. When there is a possibility of multiple bridges forwarding to the same LAN but not through the root port, ties are broken as follows. Bridges closest to the root get preference, and between such bridges, the one with the lowest serial number is preferred. So, moving on to its first question. For the given connection of LAN by bridges, which one of the following choices represent the depth first traversal of the spanning tree of the bridges? So the spanning tree, we start it with B1 as it is the lowest index, and and as B4 and B2 are connected through B3 and not B5 here, because B3 has a lower serial number than B5. In the diagram, we can see that B4 and B2 can also be connected by B5, but as specified in the question, the index is lower in case of 3, and hence it wins. So this is the possible spanning tree, and its DFS traversal is B1, B5, B3, B4 and B2. Now moving on to the second part of this question. The question is: consider the correct spanning tree from the previous question. Let host H1 send out a broadcast ping packet. Which of the following options represents the correct forwarding table for on B3? So I have drawn a simple diagram for B3. If from line 4, H1 sends the broadcast ping packet. So for B3 forwards using the line 3 in case of H3 and H4 it is clear, and for H1 and H2 it uses the other line 3 because it cannot use the same line which sent in the packet. So for H1, H2, H3 and H4 it uses line 3, and for H7, H8, H11 and H12 it uses line 2, and line 1 for H5, H6, H9 and H10. So that concludes our questions on switching and bridge. Hope you understood everything, every question. I've tried my best in explaining them, and if you still have any doubts, you can ask them in comments, and I would be happy to help you out. Thank you for watching.